Do you remember the old movie Bruce Almighty, where Jim Carrey's character Bruce is having a really, really hard time and he's praying to God, and basically he tells God that he thinks he can do a better job than God. And God said, okay, take a shot at it. And suddenly Bruce hears all the prayers of all the people around the world, and he is expected to answer those prayers. And he's overwhelmed by the requests that are coming in. They come in his brain and also through email, which is interesting. But Bruce is overwhelmed by the prayers that people are praying to him. And so many people need help. They need to win the lottery. They need to find love. They need a new house. They need a new car. And it's so overwhelming to Bruce that Bruce just hits reply all, and then he says yes to all. And it sounds like a great thing that God might just say yes to all. But as it turns out, the movie depicts that as being quite the disaster. When everybody wins the lottery, really nobody wins the lottery. And when God says yes to everybody, it just creates chaos. Now, the danger is that as a Christian, sometimes we pray to God expecting God to say yes to all. I mean, the things we want are okay and good and right, and we want our children to be blessed, and we want a better life, and we want sick people to be healthy, and we just sometimes can fall into the trap of expecting God to say yes to all. And sometimes you feel like your prayers are bouncing off the ceiling, not working, not getting through, because you're expecting a yes and God is saying no, or God is saying, why don't you just wait? These are the dangers of not understanding the purpose of prayer. When we don't understand the purpose of prayer, we begin to treat God like the cosmic vending machine. If we use the right language, use it the right way, the right time, and the right place, then God is bound to give us what we ask for. And that is not at all how prayer works. Do you know somebody who has a child and the parents always say yes to that child no matter what the request is? It's very extreme, but sometimes you see children who don't often get said no to. And these are the most spoiled, entitled children you probably know, and they're very difficult to be around. Imagine if God said yes to everything you asked for. On the surface, it might sound pretty good, but if you dig a little deeper, you know that the answer no is important. No is a protection sometimes. No saves us from bigger trouble sometimes. And so just because you're getting a no does not mean God isn't listening. He is paying attention. When you feel like your prayers aren't working, you might need to re-examine your belief about the purpose of prayer. What is the purpose of prayer? Certainly it is to tell God what you want and what you need, but it's way, way bigger than that. It's way deeper than that. One man once said that prayer is not about changing our circumstances, it's about getting through them. And I find that to be a great statement. That we don't need to stop asking God for things, but we do need to stop expecting Him to say yes to everything. Prayer, the purpose of prayer is really to pour out our heart to God, to just express to Him, communicate to Him what we need, what's going on in our lives, and then for Him to change our hearts. That's the purpose of prayer. It's a form of worship where God changes our hearts. And sometimes the way God changes our hearts is He says no, or He says wait. In the New Testament, when Jesus is asked by His disciples, Lord, would you please teach us to pray? One of the things He said was, when you're praying, one of the things you need to keep in mind is you want things on earth to be as they are in heaven. This is a big prayer. When you pray to God, God, in my family, make things here like they are in heaven. You are asking God to change you, not your circumstances. You are asking God to change your heart, not your problems. This is the purpose of prayer, to sync your heart with God. So today, as you're praying, certainly ask God for things you want, things you need, but be okay with a no. Trust that God is protecting you when He says no. Trust that God is saving you from something worse when He says wait. Because the purpose of prayer is not to give you everything you want. It's to change your heart and sync it with the Creator of the universe, that you and Him could share the same desires and the same heart. So as you pray today, be open to God changing you. not just your circumstances. See ya.